Hi everyone. Thank you so much for signing up to my class or agreeing to come in person, or maybe you're going to attend the class on Zoom. I'm really grateful and I'm excited to teach you and share this form of yoga with you. There are a few things that for some of you may be completely new, and for some of you maybe you've practiced before. So I just thought I would make a really quick introduction video just so that maybe you can just grab a couple of minutes and watch this before you come to the class, just so that it's not kind of like you're hearing it for the first time when we come to class. So firstly, there are a few contraindications to practicing this style of yoga. So please make sure you reach out to me and let me know. So I'm just going to go through some of those. So if you've had breast cancer and you're on estrogen blockers, then you wouldn't be able to do this kind of yoga. If you've got hypo or hyperthyroid, you can do it, but there are some exercises that I would need to modify, so I would really need to know that, so let me know. If you're suffering from severe period pain and you've been diagnosed with endometriosis, again, reach out. You know, people with severe endo can't do the class, but it might be that you've got, you know, mild symptoms, or you haven't been diagnosed. If you've got fibroids and they're over a certain size, again, then this practice wouldn't be for you, okay? Generally, it's for women that are over 35, or for younger women that are specifically struggling with a hormone imbalance, because it really regulates the hormone. So if you're overproducing a hormone or underproducing, as in like perimenopause, where your estrogen levels are really erratic, then it would actually bring you into balance. And if you're estrogen dominant, you can still do it because it actually brings your progesterone and your estrogen into balance. Okay, so just to go through a couple of the things that we do. So one of the things that we do is a specific type of breathing, which is called Bhastrika KD, and I'll explain this a little bit more during the class. Okay, and for those of you that have done Kundalini, it's sometimes called breath of fire, but it's different to Kapalabhati. Okay, so Kapalabhati is very rapid, and it's you know, like a passive inhale and a pronounced exhale. So Kapalabhati would look a bit like this. Yeah, a little bit more kind of from the chest area. Bhastrika is a lot more from the belly. So it's again through the nose, so it's an inhale, belly expands, and an exhale, belly draws back. So it looks a little bit more like this. Inhale, exhale. And it's not a cooling or a heating breath, it's a balancing breath. It's often known as bellows breath. But it's a slightly softer version that we do in this practice, okay? So it's called Bhastrika KD, and I'm just gonna demonstrate it again, okay? So it's inhale, belly goes out, and exhale. So it's like you're blowing up a balloon, belly expands, and we draw back as we exhale. So one more time. Okay, and we do that a lot throughout the practice, so it's really good just to get the hang of that. So that's the first one. The second that we do is Ujjayi. So for those of you that have done yoga before, this is where you tighten the back of the throat and you kind of sound a little bit like Darth Vader when you're breathing. And we do this to balance the thyroid, so we really want to feel the vibration. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate for those of you that are not familiar. You just tighten the back of the throat, the glottis, and it sounds a bit like this. You might not be able to hear me. There's music around me. So you just tighten the back of the throat and you hear your breath. Okay, so it sounds kind of like the ocean, like Darth Vader, that kind of sound. Okay, so they're the two breathing exercises that we kind of do a lot throughout the practice. The other thing that we do is we retain the breath. So when we retain the breath, we don't want to kind of hold all the breath in and be like as if you're going to go blue and pass out. We want to hold the breath to about 75% of the capacity. Okay, so when we breathe in, we can kind of relax there. So we can sort of relax our shoulders and we can be there for a little while. And when you first practice Kumbhaka breath retention, it can make you feel a little bit kind of tingly fingered, a little bit lightheaded, which is all really normal. So we don't want to hold it in too forcefully, and we just go with where we need to be. Okay, so if it's like we really need to release, we release, and we build up, you know, we slowly build up to holding the breath for about a minute, but in the first class it'll be a lot less time. Okay, so that's something else that we do. Often when we do that retaining of the breath, we do something called circulation of energy and Keshwari Mudra. Okay, so when we hold the breath, we bring our tongue, the tip of our tongue, to our soft palate. okay? And then what I'll instruct you to do is bring your attention to the tip of your nose and you engage Mula Bandha. Okay, so Mula Bandha is your pelvic floor muscles. There are 3 layers to the pelvic floor, and we're really trying to draw up the external, the vagina and the anus, front and back, then the middle, and then right up at the top. Okay, so we're squeezing up, and when we're doing that, we visualize the tip of the nose, and then we draw everything up, tip of the nose, and then I'll get you to visualize the ovaries. Okay, so that's the next thing that is just good to remember. And often when we're going to engage Mula Bandha, I'll clap my hands as well. Okay, so just check. I think that's most of the things that we need. There's one more thing, which is the 3 bandhas. So the first bandha is Muladhara, which is the pelvic floor. We squeeze up. The second one is we draw the navel back to the spine and we draw up. This is called Uddiyana Bandha, the second bandha. And this is an energy lock. So we keep the energy in the spine. We draw the prana up and then we keep it in the spine. And the final one is where we bring the chin in, and this is called Jalandhara Bandha. Jalandhara Bandha. Okay, so Mula Bandha, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana, and Jalandhara. And we activate those in the practice again to balance the thyroid. Okay, so they're most of the things that you need. It's a beautiful practice. It's mainly seated. I'm going to ask you to bring to the class a towel or a blanket for your knees, a block or a cushion to put your bum on, and anything that you may want to cover yourself with, because we do 2 yoga nidras in the class. So you may want to cover yourself. You know, we're going to be doing the class in nature, or maybe you're doing it at home, and you want to just be able to cover yourself in case there are mosquitoes or anything like that, and so that you can fully relax. If you want to bring an eye bag, an extra blanket, or any support for your neck, then please do. And I hope I've covered everything. I will go over it all again at the start of the class, but if you could just have a little practice, then it would be amazing, and you'll be able to just get into the flow without kind of like thinking, oh, what is she doing, what is she doing? And I'm really excited to teach you, and thank you so much for signing up. Thank you.